This is another weird thing that I was thinking about.
The director unsuccessfully argued in court that the excrement was actually chocolate ice cream.
Oh yeah, you know way too much about me.
If they had cat videos, they'd probably have more horns.
Somebody listening right now is offended and turned off Scrambled the egg.
That's the hill I will die on.
I respect it.
That escalated quickly, though.
By the way, it's called Scrambled YEGs.
All my conservative friends on Twitter were just like applauding him, which I thought was kind of funny considering he's like a far left progressive atheist. And all like
I like
conservative
that. That's good. Cross
yeah.
those political lines, baby.
And then I thought about it. I was like, I shouldn't be critical of that. That's actually kind of cool that like his message is resonating to different people.
Yeah.
Like the left kind of got a little fucking hairy though.
It's funny though because
yeah,
totally.
I guess you have a U.S. perspective. That's funny.
I do, yeah.
We don't see my Facebook is very Canadian, so everyone's just like, "LOL." Gervais said Weinstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah,
Epstein
or Epstein, whichever one.
I mean, I wish
fact checker.
Weinstein didn't kill himself either.
wish
Those two both equally did not kill themselves.
Yeah,
man,
together.
I wish Weinstein would kill himself.
You heard it here first.
We're all praying.
No, but I think it's funny because if you listen to his comedy and stuff, it's not surprising the things he said. But you put it to an audience who's like, "Oh, I've never watched like one of his specials or whatever," and he comes across as like so raw and like, "I can't believe he's saying these things." But everyone who knows him is like, "I can believe he's saying those things."
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
My brother found through like Ricky Gervais, his buddy. What's his name? Picklington.
Carl
Pilkington. Buddy, that guy is the funniest
He's so
dude.
funny.
Do you know who Carl Pilkington is?
No.
Oh my God. Have you ever seen his TV show Idiot Abroad?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you have time, find a way to watch Idiot Abroad, dude. It's the funniest. He goes and he sees like the wonders of the world.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is that like he hates traveling and he thinks it's stupid.
He's like a complainy Brit.
He's like super, super like glass half empty. Like everything sucks.
I like that. I actually really do enjoy British humor. I watched James Acaster last night. Acaster, yeah. That's some good shit, man.
Yeah, he's funny. My favorite thing is Carl Pilkington, whatever the fuck. He's also like, he says some really smart stuff sometimes, but it's like the grumpiest. I remember there's one. So there's like, there's a castle like carved into the side of a mountain or whatever.
Yeah.
And then across from it, there's like all these little caves. And like some people live in the castle and some people live in the caves. And he's just like sitting there. And he's like, well, either way, he's like, that's still just a cave. He's like, it's just carved in the side. He's like, you're still living in the side of a mountain. He's like, I'd rather just live in this cave. At least I get to wake up and see that every day. He's like, I gotta wake up and look at these shitty caves. So you're still sleeping on rocks.
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
I guess.
It's just like the most like, just always like huffing and puffing about shit.
Yeah, it's like, ugh, Taj Mahal, what is it, made of gold? You're like, how are you this sad?
You're getting paid to see all of that stuff, and you're like,
I had to wait in line for too long.
That sounds like an old petty American person when they travel abroad and everything's not like super convenient for them, so they're just done with it, you know?
Yeah.
And don't like appreciate. But no, I gotta look him up. He sounds funny in the petty
hilarious.
way.
It's funny. You're our first American, I think, on the podcast. I was just in Cuba. Not a lot going on America-wise. It's funny. Like
that was a joke.
I was up.
You see?
Is he taking a knee? Oh my God! Whoa! I'm gonna have to censor that out, dude.
Represent for the old Star and Stripes, man.
It's like the one place though where there's like no, like it's not very American. There's
Cuba?
Yeah. There's not a lot going on. Well,
yeah, that's why I'm gonna get my Canadian passport so I can visit Cuba, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Have you smoked a Cuban cigar here yet?
I haven't. No.
Oh, buddy, get into it.
Yeah. I'm trying to give up tobacco because every time I smoke tobacco, I just feel like shit. I feel so good immediately, and then afterwards I just smell.
It's like McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly.
Except, well, I'm not sure which one will kill you faster.
Yeah, they'll equally as fast.
Equally as this episode's about equality of things.
Yeah, Marlboro and McDonald's are the same. It's just some shit you put in your mouth that makes you feel good immediately, then garbage later, and probably is going to kill you in the long term.
You know who the Americans of Cuba are? The Russians. They're just like
what?
Yeah,
I was just in Cuba, right?
Yeah.
And
explain what that means. What do you mean the Americans of Cuba?
Because there's no Americans in Cuba because they're not allowed to come.
Yes.
So they're the loud, obnoxious ones. No offense.
Yeah, no.
Oh, like they're okay. Russia is to Cuba like America is to Canada,
or like anywhere else in the world.
Well, America has influence on like a lot of fucking nations and sides. Of like a few like Cuba, where he's saying like that influence is filled by the Russians.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I get what
it's kind of funny because they were. I didn't expect it was mostly Russian, like Eastern European Russian people, and they were rowdy.
Yeah,
just like carrying speakers around and like carrying hookah around and shit. Like
That's
brought
awesome.
it with them.
That's hilarious.
It was wild,
dude. Yeah, there's this guy that I work with, or I guess used to work with. And he's Russian, and he went to Russia for like the Christmas break to like go visit his family and stuff. And I have him on Snapchat, and like his Snap stories, I'm like, yo, Russian parties look wild, bro. It's just like dudes doing like hilarious like Russian dancing. Like I love dancing. They're always dancing, and it's always just like foot tapping, like dancing in circles, like spinning with your arms out, like
very happy.
Like
it's happy dancing.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I'm sure that Russians don't fuck around when it comes to partying, man.
No, definitely not.
I feel like they're pretty serious people.
I don't. That's what I mean. Like it's kind of
so
it's a little intimidating. There's an air about them where you're
it's
just
like South Africans.
These guys. We had like a 10-minute conversation with a guy who didn't say an English word, but just kept talking for just at like 3 p.m. He's just like, my voice through for the bar, and he's just talking and we're trying to get out of it. But he's just talking, and we couldn't even get a word in, and then eventually it was like 10 minutes.
Man, I wish I had that confidence to be heard, man. Like to keep fucking talking, no one's understanding you, but you're keep talking.
You're like this guy gets it.
Just got to do more cocaine, buddy.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
That's a coke guy for sure.
It's funny. Everyone sells cigars there. Everyone's side hustle is like, yo, do you like cigars? And they got like a garbage bag full of boxes of cigars.
Yeah, dude, the Dominican Republic was like that. And they also kept selling everyone like bunk cigars because like we were like 18-year-old idiot like white kids.
Yeah.
So they're like, bro, like have one of these, and you smoke the cigar and you're like, yo, this is so good. And they're like, yeah, I'll give you a box for like $10. You're like, okay, sweet. And you take it and you like go back to your hotel and you smoke it. You're like, oh, this is like grass. Like they just rolled up like shit they found like on the beach.
Yeah, it's crazy though. It's like the lifeguards. They walk past you on the beach, and they're like, "Cigars, bro."
Cigars,
and you're just like, shouldn't you be fucking watching the tide, man?
Someone's drowning. He's like, "Yeah, but bro, you want any Cubans?"
Brings him in, gives him CPR, and is like, "Yo, you smoke?"
He puffs like nicotine into. He's like, "You're addicted now."
I've only been to Cancun, Mexico, and I was not offered cigars on the beach. I was offered something else.
A lot harder things.
Yeah. And I've done cocaine a few times, but I've never done it in the States because I'm afraid I don't have enough money to get away with it. Man. Like I'm willing to do it in Mexico and Canada, and I've done it in France, but in the States,
That's awesome.
Coke around the world.
I was studying abroad.
What? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it was
in France
2018. It was for a month, and so I started in a town called Grenoble, which is in the Alps, the southeast part of France, and then did a week in Paris, and that shit was crazy. Like
Where is Paris, like geographically? Is it like in the middle?
It's north central.
Okay.
Of like France is a hexagon, right? So it's like. Yeah.
So it's not like a coastal town though. Like it's not like
not at all.
It's not like one of the nice places where they make wine.
No. Well, I mean, Paris is just like a huge city metropolis area. Its own thing. I think it's called Ile de Paris, like Paris Island. Yeah. I could be wrong. Or Ile de France. I don't know. I'm probably fucking that up royally.
God damn, Americans don't know shit.
But yeah, so like
hit him with the geographical stuff. Fuck him up real good.
I hate that. And like there was a story that says like 1 out of 3 Americans can't point out Iran on a map, and everyone's like fucking stupid Americans. But it's like, don't ask me to do it. Well, why the fuck would I know that?
Well, your country isn't trying to start World War III, okay, man. So,
anyways, back to the story.
So yeah, sorry.
I should say our country. I'm trying to become more Canadian.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's hard.
Yeah, you're a citizen.
Yeah, I'm Canadian enough.
Yeah. So okay, you were in Paris.
Yeah, and
beautiful Paris.
Dude, it was sick.
Did you have wine and cheese and baguettes? Did you
all
dive
the fucking
in?
time, like all the time. I made a concerted effort to eat as much cheese and drink as much wine as possible.
Nice.
I visited Lyon. Visited this woman that I was like, you're fucking perfect. And she was definitely fed up with me being dumb and American and
studying abroad.
Yeah.
I woke up.
I can't hear the word abroad without immediately being like, abroad in my head. Like just the dumbest stand-up comedian in my head. It's just like,
so yeah.
It's a dumb word, right?
Broads? Get it? Like chicks?
How about them chicks? Am I right? Applause break.
So anyways.
So yeah.
With this chick?
Yeah, and I woke up at her place and she like made me crepes in the morning.
This sounds like a fairy tale.
I felt like a fucking dream, man.
Prince Peter.
I was like, this is incredible.
On a quest for love.
Best morning of my life.
Glass of Shiraz.
No.
Crepes.
I don't.
What happened, man?
We just fooled around. That was it. No.
But then you guys just parted ways, and she's now just a memory, or what?
Yeah, just a memory. And
you didn't add each other to social media?
No, we did.
Oh, okay.
She was really cool. I just think, she was.
It's less of a fairy tale when Instagram gets involved. Yeah, she just left it at nothing. You
can say hi to her if you like.
She's definitely not watching.
Yeah, tag her in this.
Tag her.
What's her at?
No, she'll stay a secret.
Ooh.
No, it's yeah. I didn't have game that one particular night, but I was in Lyon and I needed a place to stay, so I bunked.
That's awesome. That's the best, dude. I just watched Netflix Dirty Money. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Or is it not Dirty Money? What's the other one? I can't remember.
I don't think I've seen it.
Anyways, there's one and it's about France, and there's like this part of France that makes like a whole bunch of wine, but it's not like world renowned, and there's like this French like revolution where they will like pour out like Spanish wine like in the streets. Like if stores try to like import Spanish wine, they'll just be like, nope, fuck this.
Oh dude, they take that shit way seriously, man.
Yeah. What is it called? Oh, I want to look it up. Oh, carry this podcast for a second.
Yeah, so my first night we were in Grenoble, and we had dinner on the Bastille, which is like the overlook on the mountain. So it's like pretty much kind of right in the middle of the French Alps, right? Mm-hmm. And so the first night we took these bubble things. So it's like a lift across, so like the lower part of the city up to the Bastille, and like you hop in these bubbles. They take you over this river up to like the top of a little mountain. We had dinner, like wine, like a 3-4 course meal.
Damn.
Yeah, it was sick. And then I remember, like, we didn't smoke much weed, but we smoked so much hash. So much fucking hash, man. Just like hash cigarettes every day before class, like walk into a class, and I know a tiny bit of French, like, very not even enough to try any out now, but pretty much just like talk to the homeless people trying to like get hash, and that was kind of how we scored.
So would you recommend studying abroad?
Yeah, man. If you have enough money. If not, it's just gonna bankrupt you and be like, you kind of feel a little alone sometimes. But
Yeah.
it's definitely a good experience. Open mind.
How's the
eyes
search
up.
coming, Alex?
Can't find it.
Yeah, man, I'm still a podcast rookie. I need some help.
Oh man, I can't figure it out.
What are you looking for?
Oh, Rotten. That's what it is.
Rotten.
Yeah, Rotten. It's a series on Netflix,
Okay.
and it's like really good. It's all about like just like stuff that's fucked up in the world, basically, like things.
So
that
it's
are-
about the world.
things that are rotten, like how
Rotten.
British people use it. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I was quite rotten."
Yeah.
Like if someone is rotten.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about. There's one about this place in France.
I like that.
Yeah, it's hilarious. They make like the. I was more interested in the place in France than like the documentary was trying to be like, oh yeah, and there's like these gangsters. Like, tell me more about the wine. Like this seems cool because there's like they make like 1/3 of all of France's wine, but they don't make like any. Well, at least from what they said in the document or the docu-series. It was like they don't make any kind of wine. Like they don't make like Cabernet Sauvignons or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They just make red blends. Like we just grow grapes, we crush them up, and we fucking drink it. And they make just like
Wine hillbillies.
tons of it.
The
they're
blue-collar
like
wine.
gangsters. They're
Blue
all, like,
collar wine.
Literally, they're all like tatted up. Like it's so funny.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Wine from the streets.
Yeah, dude, it's the best.
It's like gangbanging over red wine.
Yeah, literally, and they're like they have like
It's the
wars.
Colt 45 of wines.
Yeah.
They riot in the streets like all the time because of it.
Oh damn.
And they're like, yeah. There's this dude. He's like, yeah, if you try and bring shitty Spanish imports, I'll come to your store and just knock the whole shelf over.
That was the thing about France. They were always protesting about something, man.
Yeah, they love it.
And from an American perspective, that was weird because we kind of just like, yeah, dude, start World War III, man. That's cool. You know, like
we ain't gonna protest,
Like
but we
never-
are gonna drop bombs.
we are gonna bitch about it on Twitter. You
Yeah.
know?
For
Apparently
sure.
that's going okay. Apparently the wrinkles have been smoothed over.
I mean,
They shot some missiles at the U.S., didn't kill anyone, and they were like, all right, we retaliated. And Trump was like, we did it.
if they didn't have anything to do with that plane that went down, there was a
I
plane. There was a
saw
plane that was
that.
not shot down. It was like this, and then they were saying it wasn't engine failure because it climbed so fast.
Yeah.
But anyways, it killed 160 some people, 30 from Edmonton.
There's a gynecologist from Edmonton on the
Dude,
airplane.
30 from Edmonton, man.
Yeah.
That's we can't make a joke about that.
That's crazy.
not.
I can.
I'm just saying that they said that on the radio.
Interesting. Well, yeah.
They
No.
pointed out that there was a gynecologist from Edmonton on the plane.
You're like, all right, thank you for telling us that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. detail.
I read that was a predecessor to the 737 MAX Boeing that was made in South Carolina.
Yeah.
That, so Boeing, I don't know if you're familiar, they got like a bunch of shit, and I really only know this because I
Yeah.
just listened to a podcast about it. And like they weren't even like the people that they were just trying to produce planes as fast as possible and overlooked a bunch of quality control things. So
Oh, no.
Yeah.
there's like fillings in certain like electrical boxes in the planes that like once a plane vibrates could like cause short circuits and stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess that plane was kind of related to.
It was one of the ones that's in like super wide use, like WestJet uses them, all these, but and it just passed a security inspection or not safety inspection like on Monday and
okay.
shit. It's that airline's first crash ever since like they started in '92 or something like that. It's crazy, man. Yeah, the world's fucking coming to an end.
We had a good run.
It was decent. I mean, I don't know. Will history remember us? Who knows?
Yeah.
But like us, like the three of us?
Us specifically, yes.
I'm going to say the three of us are no.
It's probably I'm going to say a hard maybe. A soft maybe.
Unless if
Soft
history
maybe.
just had a fascination for the CFL for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
We love the CFL. They can't get enough of it. They're
Purest
all-
form of football.
They're all wearing watermelons on their head. They're like, 3 downs is obviously better. It creates more passing.
It's like the only tape that survived was
Yeah.
just like the Grey Cup 2017 or some shit.
It was
And
Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie when he played in the CFL. Like, this
Yeah,
man
man.
was so much better than everyone else at this sport. You're like, he was playing in the B League.
It's just a different A, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I forgot.
I
Well-
love playing the CFL, but I also love making fun of the CFL.
Yeah.
I don't think
Okay.
the two have to be mutually exclusive.
No, I agree.
This is a question I've always wondered. And I think you might be able to answer it better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Could a Div 1 NCAA team beat a CFL team?
No, absolutely not.
No?
Maybe Bama. Maybe like a solid Bama team.
Really? I figured like LSU could give
Yeah.
like Montreal a run for their money. Or like
Dude, the
Clemson.
thing is,
I guess
though,
it's
it's still like
different
half the team is American talent and all like NFL like dropouts. You know?
Oh, okay.
I mean, for, not all, but for the most
Yeah,
part.
a
So
huge
like,
amount,
there's
yeah.
still like a good amount of talent, and you're playing it professionally. Yeah, that's people have asked me that before, and that'd be tough. I'm gonna assume like Canadian rules, obviously, like the CFL team would win.
Yeah.
It's just like
That's the thing is like everyone in the CFL has played both.
yeah.
But no one in the NFL has played CFL
And
rules.
and I feel like special teams would be a big deciding factor. Just because I mean the CFL the rules it was decently hard for me to get used to it. Just the amount of running. I think the Div 1 team would be fucking gassed if
Yeah.
they had to play a CFL game just because there's so many change of direction and shit.
Yeah.
Or change of possession.
And like every other play is a deep ball, so you're literally, especially a wide receiver,
Yeah.
it's like you're sprinting and then you're jogging back to the huddle,
Yeah.
you're setting up and then you're sprinting again.
That's incredible, man. Like 5 receivers pretty much do it the whole game. Very little sub outs and hitting the waggle too and just run.
yeah, the slots and they're more like
Jesus Christ. And the play clock is 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a big respect for receivers in terms of that. I mean, fullbacks, we kind of just like every other play type of deal so we can catch our breath. Special teams.
you always end the play near where the huddle's gonna start anyways.
Yeah, most time we're just like throwing our bodies into another grown man too. So it's at the line of scrimmage. So it's not like we're running a ton, but the special teams we do for sure.
Yeah. Dude, I loved special teams. I was an absolute psychopath when I was in high school, but special teams was my favorite when you were kicking the ball away. I liked
Yeah.
that. I liked when you're like, here you go, take this. We're going to come hit you now.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a real long, nice, soft, breezy pass over to you, and meanwhile, I'll sprint directly at you, trying to hit you as hard as humanly possible.
Yeah,
That was
football
my favorite thing to do.
dude, is an absolutely mental sport.
It's,
if you think
it
it's
is.
absolutely mental.
It is crazy.
It's so fun.
It is, man. I started in 3rd grade just because
That's awesome.
I was I like played other sports and stuff like basketball and soccer but in America, man, football's God.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks literally like I bet every high school quarterback fucked when they were like 13.
Yeah.
There's no way if you're like the best quarterback in your school at like 13, junior high girls are probably like,
Yeah, you're
"Ooh."
definitely slinging it earlier than most then.
Yeah. That's wild.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Michigan. Yeah.
Where
So
exactly?
like hour west of Detroit.
Nice.
Yeah. So 30 minutes from Ann Arbor.
You
That's
ever
where my
had-
What's it
mom
called?
lives. Howell.
Howell.
Michigan.
Nice.
Yep. Small. If I had to compare it to, where would I compare it to? Maybe like a. I don't know if I can think of a comparison.
Have you ever had Flint water?
Yeah. Are you okay, dude?
Did you have to go down there for anything ever?
Yeah, so we played basketball up there, and that is the most ghetto city I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yes, it is. Like super depressing city, actually.
I can imagine.
It's
Yeah.
just classic Rust Belt story. Like so many other cities in Michigan, man. Just like there were jobs there, a lot of automation, and then automation up and left. And left like a good part of the city like without a significant means for employment, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Were your parents like Because when did that all go down? Like, were your parents affected by it, or were your grandparents affected by it?
I wouldn't know. So, like, I mean, it depended. They also didn't live in the cities. So, like, it affected people that were living in the cities because they were the ones that were working at the factories, right?
Yeah.
So, I didn't really have much family that got affected by that, per se. But just the economy, like, growing up, the economy wasn't all that great, especially after the housing crash in, like, 2007.
Yeah.
I think it is. I don't know. I haven't referenced the housing crash in a while. I think it was like late 2000s.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember
7, 8.
in 2008, my parents were looking at buying a condo in Arizona for 30 G's.
Man.
It's like a 2-bedroom condo in like this gated community that had like a little communal pool. It was 30 grand for this fucking thing.
That's wild,
Jesus Christ.
man.
Well, and Detroit's a super fascinating city because it's like it's got two very distinct personalities. Like there's all these shows where they go around all these abandoned buildings all throughout the city, and like I grew up a big Red Wings fan. I remember I was in Windsor for something, and we crossed into Detroit to go to the Hockeytown Cafe.
Yeah,
and some of my buddies wanted me to buy chew for them. Because you could get like way more in the States or whatever. So I was like, hey, where's like the nearest 7-Eleven? And the guy at the restaurant was just like, I wouldn't go alone. I was like, all right, man. I guess I'll see you then. Yeah. But it's like it's, and meanwhile it's
I'll see you then.
Yeah. Part of me was like, cool.
Yeah.
But also I was like, that's terrifying. Right across from the brand new baseball stadium.
Yeah.
And you're just like, they're beautiful here. You're like, well, I wouldn't go alone.
Yeah, that was definitely when I was growing up, going to Tigers games and stuff and seeing some. Yeah, it was eye opening. And downtown in Detroit's a lot better now. There's a lot of capital investment, and it's a lot better business wise. There's a lot. I mean, I don't know if gentrification happened downtown. Can it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how gentrification works. I also don't know if it's good or bad yet. All I know is that like white ladies move into black neighborhoods, and then like people aren't scared to go into them anymore. That's what I've heard. Gentrification is.
They take over and price out the people who were living there before.
Yeah.
And then so like they.
But everyone's
take
always
over.
like, the downtown core is so much nicer now, and it's like. Even, dude, today when we went to Commonwealth, I drove up and I was like, oh, look, they've like painted murals and they made like nice new condos out here.
Well, that area is rough, man.
It's getting a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I've only lived in the ghetto in Edmonton, and I'm just not scared of it because I've lived in the hood in the States.
I've been to Flint.
So.
I would imagine it's very different.
Yeah, just the access
a different
to
level.
guns. Not to go down this fucking path, okay? But just the access to guns and it makes it a lot less scary, man.
Yeah,
and and Canadians tend to be polite, more polite, and nicer of folks, not as aggressive, I think.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a bad experience yet.
Plus,
I don't think many people want to like fuck with me.
I was gonna say, yeah. It'd be tough it'd be tough for you to have a bad experience.
Yeah, if they knew that I wasn't actually a fighter, maybe things would be different. But
you're very peaceful. But from a distance,
for a
don't
fullback.
Fullback.
Shit, well, I was thinking of we were talking about Detroit. I did a set on the west side of Detroit, and I just saw this like Facebook ad. This guy was trying to get people on his show, and I was in Grand Rapids at the time, which is like a 3-hour drive, right? And it was either do this set, drive 3 hours, do this set, and then crash at home and then drive back, or have like a nice barbecue with my buddy, his girlfriend, and this girl that I met at a party that I was like made out with, and then like so
you know how these things work.
I was just an inspired young comedian, so I was like, fuck that shit, I'm going to Detroit and trying to make a different type of room laugh. And that was a mistake, man. The place was a block away from a McDonald's named Murder Mac.
Ooh, that's a fun nickname.
It's a McDonald's known for murder. I feel like that shit only happens in Detroit.
Seems pretty Detroity.
Yeah, so
is the West End the ghetto of Detroit?
South
is the ghetto, right?
The whole city.
Yeah.
It's all ghetto.
Outside the downtown area, like you'll have East Side is pretty hood, West Side is pretty hood. It's like its own thing. Just listen to some Detroit rap music. You'll hear the East Side. All right,
give the listeners someone, because you were telling me you were going to give me a list.
So
of people.
when I was growing up, loved Doughboys Cash Out. They're pretty old now. Doughboys Cash Out.
Like DABOYS.
No,
it's probably Dough.
Yeah, Doughboy. So so I think Doughboys back in the day was black regiment in World War II, and one of the high schools in Detroit Pershing, named Doughboys. So I kind of like copied off that.
Okay.
And then
so Doughboys is the group.
I'd say Icewear Vezo.
Icewear.
Damn. All right.
Easy.
We're getting learned up in this.
Yeah.
Peasy. What is Peasy?
He's a rapper, man.
What?
I don't know his story, but I like some of his bars. Let's think of some more.
Is Fresher a Detroit guy? He was on like one of Eminem's albums, and I was like, "Ooh, I can't wait to see who Fresher is." And I was like, "Oh, this is interesting."
I don't know.
Chloroseptic, the Chloroseptic remix. If you listen to that, Eminem's verse is unbelievable. 2 Chainz, okay.
Yeah.
Fresher, not so hot.
I'd say T Grizzly is somebody else to listen to. But yeah, so I was at this this comedy show, and I got asked if I was a cop twice. Which I don't blame them, because I was very out of place. But I'm like, no, I'm just a comedian. So ended up doing the set, and the crowd was just very disinterested. Didn't get a single laugh. Just sweated through like 7 minutes, right? And dude, the whole I didn't know if it was a strip club or a hookah bar, because there was hookah, there was alcohol, and there was strippers, and there was poles, but like I didn't know what the
sounds like it was both, baby.
Yeah, so I think it was just a place of business in Detroit where shit went off. Yeah, so
that's so funny. Can you imagine just registering like as a place of business?
What are you gonna do?
Business.
Hard to say. Yeah.
So after I hopped
your
off,
GST number is 18565.
After I got done, just hopped in the car, got a McDouble at Murder Mac, and then head home.
Got to take the drive-through at Murder Mac, or did you go in to see if you could see anything?
No, man, I was drive-through and then just out.
Nice.
I had like a 2001 Oldsmobile Intrigued,
Ooh.
so I wasn't.
So you fit in.
Yeah, I wasn't afraid like anyone was gonna like steal it or anything, just because it was a pretty shit car to begin with. So it wasn't terrible, it was just uncomfortable. I had some friends that played football with from the city that came, and I just did terrible.
Oh, that sucks when you're bombing, your friends are there.
Yeah.
Like, kill me now.
Like, why don't you assholes laugh?
But I feel like
you weren't funny, dude.
And then I had asked myself like a serious question, like, are you a masochist for putting yourself in the situation when you had such a delightful alternative?
Such a delightful
Snapchats,
alternative.
they're like in the sun, like fucking hanging out, being happy. You look back, it's like storming. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so that was an experience.
Smells like Detroit.
I went back when I was back home. Went to Central Michigan, Miami of Ohio MAC championship. So that's Mid-American Conference.
Ooh.
It's like the conference that everybody makes fun of, because they'll play like on Tuesday nights and shit. And
that's the best. Some guys like, I have a lecture I'm missing right now.
And this school called Central Michigan, and they just have the most diehard fans for no fucking reason, man.
Awesome. They're like Saskatchewan.
Yeah, my buddy. So I went with him, tailgated, got drunk at like 8 a.m. in the cold. It was like
in the cold,
0 degrees. Yeah.
Yo, where is MIT?
That's in Massachusetts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Michigan. What's the Michigan one?
There's Michigan Tech.
Is that the one that is like super, like a bunch of Silicon Valley guys come from there?
Maybe. Like, it's a good school. I don't know if it's really like country renowned.
Because I've always remembered there's like, I know
MIT is what you're thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Is there anything in Michigan that's like, because I remember thinking there's like one college in Detroit that's really good. Or is it just Michigan's football?
No, well, U of M's a really good school. And there's
Wolverines are Michigan, right?
Yeah.
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 Where is that school?
That's in Ann Arbor. So my mom lives in Ann Arbor.
Is Ann Arbor like the fancy place in
it is.
Michigan? Okay.
Yeah, it's very bohemian. It's kind of White Ave vibes.
Okay. I was always wondered that. I was like, how? Because they're like, you watch any college sport and they like come out with like a brass band and they have like these huge halftime shows and stuff. I'm like, how is there this? And then like you just zoom out and it's like in this like industrial shit hole. Like,
yeah, are you talking about the stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah. The stadium is sick though, man.
Yeah.
It's a big.
But is it garbage around it? Like is it in the place in Michigan that isn't ruined?
I would. I wouldn't say it's garbage. It's actually right next to a golf course.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
it's fancy.
so it's not a bad. It's probably my favorite city in Michigan, to be honest.
Oh, nice.
The weed scene's big there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Guys, weed legal in Michigan yet, or is it?
It is.
Nice.
Yep, it was legal November 2018.
Sick. Oh, right
And
after us.
They just started recreational sales like a few months ago.
Sick.
So it was legal. It was medically legal before that, and then it was legal to possess it and to like grow your own and stuff. But
Yeah.
you still had to buy it on the black market, right?
Such a weird.
Yeah, just because it was like transitioning.
Yeah. I heard for a while too, they had to like put all their money, they had to just like keep it in cash because if you put it in a bank, it would get taken away because federally it was still illegal. So they're like, we can confiscate your money.
Dude, there's some weird shit with that. Like in California for the longest time, it was like medical was legal, but the DEA would still come in and
Just
fuck shit
raid
up.
them?
Yeah, and that's like a popular story.
Right.
I don't think it is so much anymore, but like the DEA would like shoot people's dogs. Like,
Jesus.
yeah, it was like a real fucked up type of deal where it was like in the state it was legal, but federally it was still a Schedule 1 drug.
Yeah.
So it was pursued as if you were like cooking up heroin.
Yeah.
Which I think actually, I don't know if heroin was, I'm going to hope it's a Schedule 1 drug. But like
I'm
cocaine
assuming
was a
so.
Schedule 2.
Really?
Yeah. It's some weird
so
shit
funny.
like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess the government's not making money off weed.
And now I don't think it's a Schedule 1 anymore. Could be wrong though, but I don't think
weed?
it is.
Yeah.
I think half of the state, or almost half of the states, it's legal now.
Mm-hmm.
More than half of the states, it's medically legal. But yeah, I'd say slowly but surely, the states.
It's gonna be like gay marriage, where like California was like it's allowed, and then Canada was like, all right, it's allowed for our whole country, and then the rest of the states like slowly allowed it, and then like Alabama is still like, well, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
So when I was back in the States and I knew that I was going up to Canada to play football, I read this article and it was talking about the 50th anniversary of gay marriage being legalized, and the government printed out like a gay loonie, and there was like backlash for it. But not like if that happened in America, people would be like, "Not on my fucking dollar bill," you know? Like,
Yeah.
But I guess people in Canada were upset because, like, they were inferring like gay rights and the fight for gay rights is over because. And I was like, that was a way different fucking.
I remember that.
Reaction.
2 different avenues.
Yeah, that's a way different reaction than what would have happened in the States.
Yeah, it was a very white Av reason to get upset. I remember that.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like,
cool.
Just be like, so you think it's done then? It's like, no, we're just trying to say this was a big step and we wanted to commemorate it.
Yeah, that was like 50 years ago. Like, I thought it was kind of cool, like, because that shit. Like that shit would not fly in the States.
Yeah,
like, some dude from Texas would be
putting
like, "Not
the
my
White
fucking
House
dollar
and
bill."
a queer on the same fucking coin.
Yeah.
Me and Brad started writing raps for a character named Young McDonald.
Nice.
Yeah, his dad lost the farm to heroin addiction. And now he's
It happens, man.
pursuing a hip-hop career to help pay the debts.
That's good. I think that's got legs.
Thanks.
Something's got to feed these cows.
Yeah, so that's a character we're working on. Look out for that in 2020.
That's something we're working on. Dropping soon.
Sometimes I just put ideas out in the universe and hope they come to fruition.
Hope something lands.
I love the word fruition because, sometimes when you hear a pro athlete give an interview, no disrespect,
No,
but it's
please
not always the smartest shit. My favorite ever thing that I've heard an Oilers say, back when I worked in radio, I used to have to like cut up the audio after games and stuff. And Sean Horkoff said something about like plants coming to fruitation, and I fucking lost my goddamn mind, and I've never forgot it. I kept the clip in my folder so I could go back sometimes and listen. And like, well, it's nice to see. Just trying to be so smart. Like, nice to see the plants coming to fruitation, and he's just like, I used that. I don't know if you guys heard that big word I used back there, but it means when the fruits.
My girlfriend taught me a new word, and I used it in
when
the
the
interview.
fruits get tated.
Fruits get tainted.
I love when people try to say something and they like to sound sophisticated, and they're just like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
That just didn't work, buddy. Go back to the drawing boards. Yeah, I've only done one post-game interview last season. I just sounded so stupid, man. I sound so bad in interviews. I was extremely uncomfortable. After a game, it's like so much emotion and energy you've expelled. Like, obviously, you're expected to give an interview if you're like one of the ballers, right? But I had my shirt off. This dude kind of just came up and was like, "Hey, I'm with." I forgot what he was with, but he just started talking to me. I was like, "Fuck, I'm on camera. Let's fucking do this."
They're like, "Do you know who I am?" Like,
Yeah.
I was a special teams guy.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very second string. I'll just, yeah.
That's awesome. What did he ask you? Was he just talking about like?
No, he actually asked me about stand-up. I was like, "Fuck, this dude
Oh,
actually
that's
expects
awesome.
me to be funny right now."
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not happening. But he just asked me like how I've been enjoying it, and it's been good. And it was my second game at that point, so
Nice.
and it was like one of my better games of the season. So. It wasn't too bad. I'm making it sound worse than it was, but
It's gonna be weird though, just standing there like shirtless and sweaty, and some
Yeah.
guys like, "So how do you feel?"
That's the crazy thing. After games, like we're all changing and stuff, and press is in the locker room. Like women reporters are in the locker room, and there's just dick out everywhere.
That's so funny. Like,
Yeah.
Coach always has his dick out. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. How come you do?
Yeah, it's just like bare ass everywhere, and just a female reporter will just
Come
go in and
trouncing
then,
in.
yeah. But I mean, that's
So
cool.
how was your game?
But yeah.
How did you end up with the Eskimos?
So I was drafted.
Is there
in
a
May.
CFL
2018.
combine?
There is,
Yeah.
yeah. So I went to a regional combine in the CFL because I kind of started out like the draft process late. Started in January. So my last season college football was that 2018? Yep. Ended like November 2018, and then trained for 5 months, and then had a combine in May, and I actually pulled my hamstring in the combine.
Oh,
So
brutal.
I thought I was done, right? Then, a week before, actually, like 2 days before I got a call from the Eskimos, I got a call from like 5 teams just saying, "Hey, we're interested, looking at your tape, like, think you can play, right?" I got drafted, and a few more weeks back home, and then shipped up here, and then it's been history.
Let's say so. The Eskimos actually drafted you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so only Canadian citizens can be drafted in the CFL. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I have citizenship, so therefore I was drafted.
That's sweet.
Oh.
Does that happen a lot? They like find guys who like have dual citizenships from their parents and stuff.
There's dudes that haven't even been to Canada that have citizenship because of their mom or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's just
That's
like
so
fuck
funny.
it. I guess I'm playing in the CFL.
That's hilarious.
I was very loose Canadian connections. I was just born here to 2 American parents. My dad was teaching in Cobourg at the time. Cobourg, Ontario. It's like 2 hours east of Toronto. And found out that I had citizenship.
That's sick.
Fuck it, I'm playing professional football. And
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
yeah, so I'm
Are
definitely
you-
happy to be up here, and I'm gonna become more Canadian.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I love that. Are you? Do you play against anyone that like you played with or against in college?
Yeah.
Like, do you recognize dudes? They're like, hey, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah, there's a few. So my buddy Rev, he plays left guard for the Tiger Cats, and he played at my university.
Okay.
And I played against a few guys in my conference. So I played in GLIAC, which is a Division II conference in like the Great Lakes region of the United States. And like Antonio Pipkin, he was a quarterback for the Alouettes, 17 before Adams took over. And then Marcus Tucker, played him in college. He plays for the Ticats too. So there's a few guys I've seen around.
Nice. Is there any dudes? Because you played Div 1 for a little bit as well,
I did,
right?
Yeah.
Was there any dudes that you played with there that you're like, well, this guy's obviously going to the NFL?
Yeah, so my first year, I played at the Air Force Academy. My first year, I was a freshman, still pretty undersized, right? And at Air Force, they don't have red shirts because it's a federally funded institution. So, like, you technically don't have scholarship because your whole education is covered by the government. And
Because you're like technically enlisted in the army, right?
Yeah, because you're in the military. And dude, I saw Stephon Tuitt and DN for the Steelers now. And
Okay.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Cross with TJ Watt. That's a good combo.
Yeah, so he like 6'7", like 270. I was like,
Wow.
yeah, this dude's going to the league. So yeah, there's a few athletes like that I played at D1.
Didn't you play with the guy? Was that you or something? Who's in the Pro Bowl this year?
Yeah, my buddy Matt Judon. I played with. So my redshirt year at Grand Valley, right after I transferred, was his senior year.
Yeah.
Buddy had like 22 sacks or something ridiculous.
That's wow.
In
What's
the
it like
college season?
practicing with a dude like that? Because I remember in like high school, there was guys on my team that I'm like, dude, this guy's a beast. And you have to go against him in drills, and you're like, oh my god, like this is gonna be so hard.
To be real, after camp, he was a little banged up senior year, so he practiced very carefully. So he wasn't like practice was more so purposeful as opposed to like trying to just fuck people up.
Very scientific.
There was other DNs that would do that, but he was definitely careful about it. But yeah, we still had good battles, and his quick twitch off the ball was astounding. Like the first time I saw him get off, I was like, yeah, this man's gonna be an all-time great in the league. And I just saw it. And
That's crazy.
Yeah,
did
so
you
I
ever
was
have
on
to like?
scout team that year. So he so I had to like block him on
Yeah, I
scout
was
team.
gonna
so-
say that's crazy. Like, did you ever like come around the edge and you have to pick up the block? And you're like, well, here we go.
yeah, that shit wasn't great, but I mean, that's football though. You're gonna play against good people, and it's a physical game. And
Yep.
I definitely that year just shook off some concussions.
Yeah.
Not like seriously, but I probably had one undocumented.
Yeah.
But
I'm
fine.
confident
I'm good
at some
enough.
point in my life I got like a mild concussion that I just rolled with.
Yeah.
I've had a handful.
That's how spring ball was for me, because I walked on there, and spring ball, after my first fall there, I had to earn a scholarship. So I remember I got banged because we were just going after each other every single practice.
Yeah, because you got something to prove.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have games, so you don't like. So if somebody gets injured, be like, fuck it, we got 6 months to get you back. So like, there's some good competition, and did well enough to earn a scholarship though, and then played for 3 years there, and then got drafted. So
That's tight.
yeah,
That's fucking awesome. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, is there any dudes in the CFL? Like, is there any times where you've been just like, fuck, like, I hate that this guy is hitting me so hard? Like, has there been...
Yo, this dude.
Sometimes I watch football and I'm like, these guys are freaks. Like, I would explode if one of these guys hit me.
Never mind several times.
Outsides.
This dude, Nick Usher, he was a defensive end for us. He would work me so bad in practice, man. Like, yeah, I would just... For him, I had the hardest time blocking him. But besides that, I didn't... See, the CFL, I wouldn't say is as physical... I think that's unfair. There's not as much size on the field because speed and
it's such a huge field. They try and spread everything out.
Yeah, exactly. And the players like DNs tend not to be as big. So I mean, that's like a general rule. Like obviously exceptions and stuff, but I got like pancaked once this year, but besides that, it was fine. There's some big collisions on special teams and stuff, but nothing too bad. Was able to stay healthy. I re-pulled my hamstring actually during camp, which was shitty. That was tough just because like I had the rest of camp to be like, am I getting cut? Or
just
football's ruthless.
Yeah.
Football is ruthless with that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine if the NFL is not getting guarantees. I can't imagine you guys get guarantees.
No, I don't really. I should know more about contracts. I'll let like my agent handle that shit just because I have no interest. Really.
Yeah, I'm sure most professional athletes don't really know what's going on with their contracts.
So, but yeah, they can cut you pretty much at any time, man. So it is pretty cutthroat like that, and super ultra competitive. But I mean, you are also at the top level of athletics. In your sport, so that's just the nature of the beast, right?
What size is the roster for a CFL team? Because it's 53.
It's 45.
Damn, so it's smaller than the NFL roster. Hey?
And you have to have a certain number of Canadians on the field at all times.
So you have to have 7 Canadian starters. So usually on offense, that means like the interior O-line. So both guards and center are usually Canadian. And then tackles are usually American just because
they train tackles wildly down in the States.
Well, and you're going against American DNs.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh.
Whereas like Canada, you can plug some big boys in the middle. And
yeah, there's obviously some really good talent in Canada.
Yeah.
But just with the nature of the beast, man, like America is football.
Huge.
Religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also I remind myself of this a lot. Just like everything in America, they have literally 10 times more people than us.
Yeah.
So it's like for every 10 guys that are like 6'3", 240 in America, there's only 1 in Canada. So it's like, of course, they're going to have more linemen.
And then you usually have 1 Canadian receiver, the R. So that's the R in like a 5 receiver set. The R will be a smaller guy, like a scat back type of deal.
Okay.
And then
typically a guy who grew up playing like slot in Canada, I imagine.
Yeah. And then so we call it 2B or big team personnel. So with 1 fullback or 2 fullbacks, then the R will be a fullback. And then, that will be a Canadian spot too. So there's no American fullbacks really in the CFL. Yeah,
that's funny.
There's a strategic aspect to coaching in the CFL that's interesting.
Man. Yeah, there's a lot of shit in managing like national versus international players, roster spots and stuff. There's a lot of moving parts. And then on defense, you usually have a Canadian inside at like nose tackle or something, and then you'll have a Canadian free safety. Usually
that makes sense because they don't even have that position in the States.
I
imagine halfbacks every once in a while are probably Canadian too.
No,
the DHBs really?
Yeah, halves are always American.
That's so funny. They just use like free safeties, or
because free safeties, so they'll use free or boundary safeties from the States, or strong safeties, I should say. So the free safety position and the Canadians' like style of game, there's a lot of blitzing. Also coverage, but it's like an extra man coverage type of deal. So that's why it usually tends to be Canadian.
That makes sense.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit. Man.
It's funny because like a lot of Canadians are like that are NFL fans are like CFL fucking like I can feel Alex being like yeah but fuck the CFL the whole the whole thing but it's funny
not that I don't have respect for it. It's just that there's not even the money behind. Like that's the biggest thing is like of course not.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like I grew up watching the Eskimos and shit and I always just find that so funny. Someone's like, yeah, I fucking bleed blue for the Carolina Panthers, who I have no connection to whatsoever. I just picked them one day, and that's who I love. But fuck the CFL.
Yeah, people feel bad when they don't know anything about football. Like when I bring it up, I'm like, don't feel bad. Like
it's a complicated fucking game.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's definitely. I mean, if you're from America, you should know football. But besides that, yeah, it's kind of a toss-up. To be
that was the most American you've ever sounded to me. If you're from America, you should know football.
You listen here, bro. The most insulting thing is when people in Canada think I'm from Texas.
Yeah, why does it?
I don't know because, like, Texas is like the Alberta of the states, right? So,
and not because of the oil.
It doesn't have that much to do with it.
So it's if like a person from Ontario was confused or mistaken for a person from Alberta, like they'd feel some type of way about it, right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel. But granted, I like Texas and Alberta, so I just don't want to be
confusing.
from there.
It's like so far away. Also, you're like, this isn't even close.
Yeah, but I guess I got some sort of twang to my voice, or I speak slow or some shit. I don't know.
I speak slow.
But people said I'm from.
Or
they think I'm from Texas.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Did you know anything about Alberta before, like, or Edmonton
Nothing,
before?
bro.
So the Eskimos
Fucking
drafted you.
nothing. Absolutely nothing about
And you're like,
Edmonton.
I'm gonna Google what the fuck a Edmonton is.
I just knew it was north as shit. That's what I knew about Edmonton, and it was in February, and I was
not our best look.
No, I haven't experienced a February in Edmonton so far, so I'm scared. But I was calling my agent, and I was in Michigan, right? And I was like, my agent is actually from Edmonton, and I was wondering how cold is it in Edmonton, the northernmost city for a CFL team. It was like negative 27 Fahrenheit. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like 32 is freezing. I was like, that's a thing. So it was like, what, minus 30 something? And
There's 50 degrees below freezing.
It has never been like that in Michigan. Maybe wind chill, but besides that, it was like, no, it was just negative 27. I was like, man, if I get drafted there.
Apparently we're getting some of those days coming up. Some of those like real heavy winter days.
Yeah, well, you could feel it today.
Oh,
today was
today
the start
was bad.
of it.
Yeah.
A little windy, a little bitter cold.
That's just crazy to me. So like negative 40, we're all the same, right? So it's like negative 40 Celsius is negative 40 Fahrenheit. And it was like negative 15 today. It's like it could still get 25 degrees colder.
I know.
And I was freezing my ass off today.
The thing, mine is honestly like minus 25 to like minus 40 is pretty much the same though, except once you hit 40, you're like, okay, it hurts.
Yeah, you're like, it's a little colder now.
Yeah.
Like I'm if I stay out much longer, we got problems.
Yeah.
It's weird to that we all stayed.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of a
yeah.
Let's be some harsh conditions to be like,
crazy.
no, we should just.
It's weird that I decided to spend the off season here.
Yeah.
I like it. I respect
that speaks to Edmonton as a city.
It does. It does. I'm a big fan.
It's because you're trying to be more Canadian. What better way to be more Canadian than survive in Alberta winter?
Yeah.
It was so cute, man. My dad got me a parka for Christmas.
Ah.
We're just getting you ready, son.
And you're like, thank you so
Like, I really,
much.
really, really needed this.
Yeah, you got the all seasons on the whip.
I do.
That must be fun. The first, this is the
Dude,
first
the thing
real
is-
snowfall.
This is the first bad one, yeah.
I was fine. I'm like driving in Michigan.
Yeah, you get snow all the
You
time.
Sometimes even
got to
worse.
worry about everyone else. That's the big thing. Everyone
That is
forgets
true.
how to drive.
I was low key passing people.
Yeah.
I shouldn't, but I was kind of in a hurry.
But I was feeling myself.
There's a lot of people making lanes that ain't lanes today.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I've noticed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, when did this become a 3 diagonal lane road?
Yeah.
You kind of just have to feel. Everybody just kind of has to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to hope the first guy that made tracks made them in the lane, because that's where the tracks are going to be all day.
Yeah. That's where they're at. You ever be the guy making the tracks and then you see the line, you're like, shit,
You're like,
sorry, everybody. Like, you have to go, like 4 feet over. You're like, oopsies.
You like merge onto a freeway and you're like, I can't see a lane.
Yeah,
I'm
shoulder.
just going to treat this as one big lane.
Just right in the middle.
Nestle myself in the middle.
I'm going right in the middle of all of the space.
Put the old 4 ways on. And
Someone can go on either side of me, whichever they choose is safest. This is a 2-lane road now.
Good luck.
Yeah, I got a little Mazda SUV all-wheel drive type
Nice.
deal.
Nice.
So, yeah, got it off Kijiji, super cheap.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Kijiji guy.
I haven't
Big
In real Canadian.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Probably helps to be like a hulking man when you're like meeting up with people to like, hey, no, it's actually 50. Then you show up and the guy's like, it's 40. Like I said in the ad, it's 40. You know what? I'd take 30.
Just don't.
Just haggling himself down. Like, you know what? Just take it.
Yeah, this is one of my the first car that I bought actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Got that CFL paper.
$2,500 car, but
Do you
that
know what-
shit it works
As
though.
a tribute, baby.
Do you know what the CFL's motto was? I think it was probably in the 90s. They had this marketing campaign to differentiate from the NFL, and it was "Our balls are bigger."
yeah.
Nice.
Get
it?
So there's this.
I just loved that was a thing for a long time.
There was this other CFL player who was also a comedian named Sean Avery. And he said the CFL stands for cash flow low. I thought that was some good shit.
That is accurate.
That's what I aspire to be, man. That clever with it.
That's so funny. Yo, okay, so how did you were you playing ball when you started comedy?
Yeah, so I started comedy in like 2016, like March. And yeah, so it was the off season at that point, and then I did it through the summertime because I was at university for the summertime. And
like, where'd you go out? Just like a campus bar, or just?
No, I tried to hit the city bars and like the actual comedy scene in Grand Rapids as hard as I could when I was like just starting off, and then during the season I completely abandoned it for like a few years, and then in the summertime I would usually try to hit like 2 mics a week, that type of deal. So it was like an on and off experience starting off. And then like I've told you, like I started earnestly pursuing it in September here in Edmonton. Took a few months off and went to the secret shows. Brought a girl to the secret shows the first time. I was like, damn, this scene's actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
I gotta get into it.
You know, my favorite, I think my favorite thing from my experience in the comedy scene was you asking for a spot on the secret show and me knowing you were a pro athlete and being like, there are things present at the secret show that maybe... I thought I was going to fuck around and like get the offensive line booted from the league or something.
He's like, nah, dude, we're allowed.
Because you brought your boys to a bunch of shows. I was like, we're
Yeah.
going to fuck around and get the team expelled.
Yeah, no, that's the cool thing about the CFL. I don't think weed has ever been tested, even
That's
when it was
hilarious.
illegal. And yeah, in university it is, but in the States it's always been tested and rigorously.
Who was it?
So
Who was it that
refreshing.
came out like a few weeks ago and was like, dude, I smoked weed before every single game. It was like someone really famous, like
I've been seeing stories about that here and there.
There's
like
a
just
lot.
over the years, there's always someone that comes out and was like, yeah, I was fucked up all the time.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice was like, yo, I smoked weed all the time.
Yeah, no, I've smoked with an NFL player before. They
That's
just
so
know how
funny.
to. I don't know. I guess they know how to get around it. But
Yeah.
That's like
it makes no sense that it still is, and I'm sure that the MLB just dropped it. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, the rigs in Alberta still you can't smoke weed.
Yeah.
That's so fucked. To go dig for oil, you can't have joints.
I mean, they're all using fucking bought pee anyways.
Yeah, I guess.
That's when I knew the trades were never going to be for me. When I heard a friend was like trying to buy clean pee off someone, I was like, why would I want that to be part of my professional life?
Yeah.
I buy pee.
But you make so much
I
money.
had a friend who was selling his kids' pee at one point. I was like, that's
weird.
That's too far,
how
man.
are you getting your kids pee? That's the weird part.
You might just be asking.
That would.
Yeah, but what are you being like,
Yeah.
hey, son, pissing in this glass?
Yeah, I'm
for
going to
me?"
sell it to my buddy.
Because
What?
you have to
How does
like
he not bring that up to his teacher at some point? Grade 2 kids talk a lot.
you have to trick your child, or you have to have a serious conversation with them. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? Daddy's in a lot of shit. I
Yeah.
have to pick up a side gig.
Like, do you like the things that I buy you? Yes?
You need
Piss
to,
for me,
you
son.
Need to piss in this jar, and he just starts pissing. Not above the line.
No.
And he sees your friend
Don't
come
let it get
over
cold.
and buy it from you.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, Dad, what is your friend doing with my pee?
Then you go to school and try to sell it to your friends. They're like, what the fuck is this?
My pee's worth money.
Yeah, my dad sells it to all his buddies. Like, what? It must be an adult thing.
The other kids are trying to sell their pee to their parents' friends. Like, $5, $5.
Yeah. Honestly, once I
Your
heard
kid is weird.
that people buy pee from each other, I was just like, nah, man.
I'm good with that, man.
I'm gonna find something else to make money doing.
I am out. What are we at? Oh, hour 10? Beautiful.
Hour 10.
Well, Peter, you got any shows coming up? You got some stuff you want to tell us about?
Yeah, I got some tonight. Well,
Tonight.
Yeah, never mind. Got a secret show tomorrow. And then I got the station the 22nd.
There we go.
Uh,
Station on Jasper.
yeah,
Closed
be
for
there.
renovations right now. We're back on January 22nd.
The show's going to be fun, too.
Yeah,
It's
that
going to be
should a
super
good
fun.
show.
Yeah. It'll be our big return for 2020.
And yeah, I'm just around. Hit me
Just
up.
around.
Hit me up. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at Pete Cender. Twitter, same thing.
Cender with a C.
Yeah, with a C.
It's the most Albertan last name. Fucking Cender, man.
Yeah.
Fucking Cender, bud.
Peter Cender. Yeah, that's pretty. I just realized how awesome that name is.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Fucking Cender,
He's
man.
like, dude, like Peter's another name for penis. Sender is somebody that sends something. You're sending the dick, bro. I was
Fucking
like, wow.
Cender your Peter, bud.
Guys are so creative. I like it. This guy's a fucking Peter Sender, man. You just got to put the emphasis differently. It's Peter Sender. No, it's Peter Sender.
It's akin to Richard Giver.
That's good. I never heard Richard Giver before.
Yeah, Dick Giver.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll be around.
Peter Sender.
More like Richard Taker.
Oh,
Noise.
Nice.
Well, it's been fun, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on. I'm sure we'll have you back sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow the Edmonton comedy scene at YEG Stand Up.
The whole
the
damn
old
thing.
Instagrammer. Yeah, like the ones that we put up.
Old MC.
Edmonton Comedy on Facebook as well. It's another group to see like what else shows are happening around town.
You can go to comedyaf.com and get my album there.
Woo!
And you can listen to this podcast there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see my upcoming shows there. Or you can send me an email. You can just say hi if you
Send
want.
him a letter.
Yeah, send me a love note. Please.
Stalk him and stick a note under his door.
Don't do that. just online.
Just slide into his DMs.
Slide right in my DMs. At AF Comedian is where you can do that.
If you're looking for me, you'll find me on the north side because the CFL does not pay too well.
Well, but our balls are bigger.
Yeah, but our balls are big.
All right. That's the podcast. Enjoy the rest of your lives, guys. Peace.